that was a really good episode. I just want to just do just a quick little after show on this because I think sometimes we can go through. This is like a heavy topic to me. You know what I mean? It comes with a lot of information, so it's easy for a really main point to the topic to be overlooked. I wouldn't know, so I'm going to ask CG and Jose. Is there anything in this episode? And you, Chauncey, sorry about that because you know more than me. Shit. Um, is there anything in this episode that we may have overlooked or just may have breezed over that we just want to touch on? Nothing to make a whole new episode, but just something that is in correlation to this episode.
I think probably one thing to talk about maybe in the future or is actually, because I mean, we talk about the platforms to buy it on, but we aren't talking about the wallet yet, because you do want to eventually move it away from the platform, because you never know what's going to happen to the platforms. You might want to talking about moving it somewhere else, like a wallet where it's more secure, because you never know what's going to happen to the platform. That's more like a security type of thing, I guess. But that's something
that's the biggest point. I think you hit on it because I kind of alluded to it, but I think that because nothing, and don't get me wrong, I think things that are regulated is still not safe. But this is not regulated or secured by anything. You know, am I wrong or right? So
you're right. You're right. Yeah, and that's actually a very good point. And we should definitely talk about that. Is that like there's no like the SEC isn't, you know, the Securities and Exchange Commission. Then yeah, they're not going to help you. You know, there's no you know, like when you put your money in the bank, there's the federal insurance, insurance. Yeah, there's none of that. You know,
that's right. It's gonna be gone. It's gonna be gone. You don't do your research, it's gonna be gone. You can't call nobody. There's no hotline number for you.
Right. I mean, there's no State Department of Insurance, you know, there's absolutely nothing like that. There's no kind of recourse, you know, and that's the thing too, is that a lot of these coins, they get falsely advertised. You know, people will advertise them as something that is just, you know, maybe it might be the wording, maybe it might be like literal lies about what its functionality is or something. But you know, that will cause the price to go up and down. People also too, they artificially pump the price of coins, you know, which is where coins will come out, and people through social media or whatever, you know, way they'll do it, they'll get the price to go up really high, and then it'll just crash, and it's a pump and dump, you know. So you have to watch out for that.
Everything gone, food gone, house gone, everything gone, because you just follow the people on social media, and they didn't moved it one way, and you went along with it. So that was a big one. I think that we didn't really hit on. It was the security and the lack of security, and I guess being able to take a risk, because that's what you're going to do. You're going to take a risk. So you know, I don't know how the surety this is, but you know, just know that it could be gone just as fast as it grew, and you know.
Right. And let me mention too, there's also another issue of security in that. So you can have something like Bitcoin, which so let's just assume that Bitcoin stays stable and the actual price doesn't crash, right? But you could have Bitcoin, and if you put it on like we're showing Coinbase, right? Coinbase is kind of like a bank, and if your Bitcoin is in Coinbase, and if Coinbase goes away, then basically so does your Bitcoin.
See, right? That's why you said move it to the wallet.
Right. So that's right. Exactly. That's what CG just said, move it to a wallet. So that's why if you move it to a wallet, like if I moved, say, my Bitcoin to MetaMask, and if Coinbase goes down, but then MetaMask is fine, then I'll still have my coin. Alternatively, you can even move it to what's called a hard wallet, which is where basically you write down like this long code, and it's where it doesn't even have to live online, but you have this long string of numbers that you can enter back into the, like almost like Bitcoin itself, and get your money back. So some people take that form of security, which is pretty extreme, but good. Actually, it's a very good form of security too. So
very good. I'm glad you brought that up, because you know people need to know how. I mean, if you're a risk taker, you're a risk taker, but people need to know what comes along with risk. And I'm all for risk because I think it helps you grow. But I'm not on for risk when I'm just not educated enough to know the possibility. So you know that's kind of huge. So being
Gotta be
able
aware.
to know where you can have some security and, protecting your interests is
Right.
huge. So yeah, that was great. That was really great. See, do you have any more questions or anything you want to add that wasn't added?
I'm still learning about this space right now, and I've risked a little bit of money. I'm not risking a lot because I just don't understand it. And I'm gonna be honest with you, like when money don't make sense, all I think is, this is a good vehicle for money laundering. And
That's true.
like,
That's true.
that's all that goes through my head. It's like if it don't make sense, all I think is money laundering. All I think is one big old shell game. And like it's like if it doesn't make sense,
Three-card Monty.
Three-car
You're not
Monty in the
wrong,
back
man.
of the bus.
You're not wrong.
So I mean, right now I haven't risked a lot of money in it because I don't understand it. But when I do, I mean, I definitely do see the space opening up for this, and I do see the possibilities of it. It's just I just don't know as far as like the actual currencies and everything. And on top of that too, I'm not tapped into into like the distribution channels of like just communication either. Like I'm not tapped into those channels too. Maybe that's another thing too that we could talk about is like where to. Well, you know what? That's kind of like looking at like insider stuff. But I mean, even where do you look at? I mean, where do you even?
Yeah, it's just, I mean, Discord and Telegram have a lot of groups, but then again, those are just random people at the end of the day.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Same
it
with,
seems like it's a lot of trial and error as opposed, because the question really is, who do you trust
yeah,
with giving you the proper information? And
Yes.
so when people are saying, oh, I've just researched, and so they've put things together. Well, I have a job. And so I have a job and I have a podcast and I have all these other things going.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like I don't have the bandwidth really to kind of,
right,
and like I said, I could very well be missing out on something, but I'd rather
right.
just dip my toe in the water and just see how it is and see what happens. And now, if at the end of 10 years I lose my $8.75, it's not so bad.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I'm with that.
Jose, do you have any questions or things that you think we could have covered?
Nope, I'm with CGL, so I'm still learning the space as well. So
All right.
You have a pretty good grasp, though. You have a pretty good grasp on what's going on.
You do, Zay. You do.
Yeah.
So now I know what you've been in there doing. So yeah, he's so smart. I'm just telling you, he is so smart. Like I have to ask him everything. He probably said, "My mom is so crazy and slow," but he's so smart because like if I go, he has things up on his television. I'm like, I always ask him, what is that? What is that? He probably said, Mom, stop asking me questions. So, but it's because I'm so like you, Chauncey, I'm so consumed over here in my, my daily life that I'm thankful that I have my son. I'm thankful I have my nephew because I don't even have the bandwidth in my head to even try to take on anything else. So when something happens, I have to ask these two gentlemen because I don't really know. So I'm so thankful for both of them. But again, this was a great episode after show. Thank you, Zay, for coming on today. Jose, he hates me calling him anything else. Jose, thank you for coming on, my bright son. Thank you, my bright nephew, CG. Thank you, my sister girl, Chauncey, for coming on. And Kai, thank you. Again, join us on our social media platform because we put a lot of information out that's not always crazy, but we put a lot of information out that's informative. So people will know just little ways to better themselves because this is what this episode is about. Taking a risk, bettering yourself, knowing what's out there. So you can take the chance. So I'm your girl, Kimmy, and joining me tonight is
Chauncey.
CG.
Jose.
Hi.
Have a good night and have a good week on purpose.